I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV Velocities in Music, the best kept secret in music reviews. Today, we're going to review Spiritualized, newest release, Sweetheart, Sweet Light. Tom, Spiritualized, you know about Spiritualized. Are you Spiritualized? Let us know about Spiritualized.
Well, I'll let you know what I know at least. Spiritualized is mainly the brainchild of Jason Pierce. Been making albums since, you know, the kind of beginning to mid-90s. They had a big breakthrough in 1997 with Ladies and Gentlemen, We Are Floating in Space. What a great year for music, 1997, especially British music. You had Blur self-titled, Radiohead, OK Computer. You had David Bowie, Earthlings, which we really liked.
I really wish I hadn't have been 10 years old then.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
I wish
I would have been able to appreciate it a little more.
I was listening to Chumbawamba. I just admitted that for all of you guys. All right, anyways, continue.
Anyways, so, you know, they definitely have, Spiritualized definitely has that classic kind of British sound to them, you know, in lieu of some of the stuff that was happening earlier in the 90s. But, you know, definitely took a more experimental approach to things.
Right.
And, you know, after a bunch of albums and then coming out, still going strong in 2012 with Sweetheart, Sweet Light, it was really interesting to see where Pierce took the sound. I feel like this is a little bit simplified. Now, I don't want to put too much emphasis on that because I'm just saying it's simplified from an overly experimental standpoint. Right. You don't have all the crazy horns. You don't have all the crazy segues that you get on some earlier work. It's a little more focused, but what you do have that's always been in Spiritualized music are these long building tracks that focus on this kind of entrancing repetition that just sucks you in like a frickin' riptide.
And then all these instruments build in, and there's just such a wide, by the end, when you reach that climactic point where it's just really loud at the end, there is so many horns, guitars, keys, synths, everything is just, it's just like swirling around you. It's a really cool effect.
But what's interesting too is even though the songs build, they sometimes tend to just shift right in the middle. It happens on tracks like Hey Jane and So Long You Pretty Thing where, you know, it's building and then it stops and it's like a whole other build. And what's great about those tracks is that I listen to them and I don't even notice that they're nearly 8 or 9 minutes long. They just work. And I think that that's quite an accomplishment. So as far as the songwriting goes, the melodies, all those things, I think that Sweetheart, Sweet Light is a really good release. Very strong, very solid. We're going to give this good scores. Now, to get into my two big gripes about it, all it comes down to for me is production and just a general safety about it. Now, I know that I can't expect him all the time to be as out there, to be as spacey, to be as crazy as he used to be. But I just felt like there was a tinge of just settling on this album.
Like it wasn't like you felt this was a defining moment. There's very few times on this album where you could really feel like this is a defining part of Spiritualized sound.
Exactly. And then with the production, my main gripe is, I mean, like, it's just, I feel like in the mix, everything doesn't quite come together as well as it could. There's next to no low end. Right. There's hardly no bass. I mean, if you listen to like Ladies and Gentlemen, We Are Floating in Space, there's these moving bass lines like the whole time, kind of Doves-esque at that point, which actually, I mean, you know, came before a lot of Doves stuff, but it's the best comparison I can make. But here, I just feel like it's so much mid-range and high-end that I don't feel like there's any bass anchoring the songs down.
Which actually kind of goes against the nature of space rock.
Exactly. And it goes against the nature of these building tracks because you need that kind of monotonous kind of bass hum to be in there holding things down. It works like an anchor, really. Right. And here there's not much of that there, so I feel like things are just kind of floating around a little more chaotically, not driven down.
They're kind of just floating in space.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen. So that holds it back for me a little bit, but really they don't overshadow the strengths of this album nearly enough to give it a very bad score.
Right. So my biggest gripe with it, Tito, is that this album is 11 tracks long, right? It's kind of a long album.
About an hour, I think.
Yeah, it's about an hour. I don't think it needs to be an hour long. Here's the deal. There are about 6 tracks on this album that are those big builder tracks. Yeah. Right? Good handful. About half are these big builder tracks. And in between these big builder tracks, you have tracks like track 3, Little Girl, track 6, track 5, Too Late, track 7, Freedom, and then track 10, Life is a Problem. You know, these tracks are these kind of slow ballads. And it's nice to see a difference in Spiritualized sound. Nice to show that he has the talent to make music that is you know, different from that big spacey build that you know, everyone knows about Spiritualized music. But you know, you only really need to show that once, maybe twice. Now, from a functional perspective, the reason why these are included, especially in the numbers and where they're placed, because the way this goes is you'll have builder and then ballad, builder and then ballad.
It's kind of a buffer,
exactly,
so that you're not dropping and then going right back up.
If you were to listen to this and take away all the track separation and just had one continuous track from beginning to end, the whole point would be to make the wave, so that you have building intensity, reaches a climax, and then it comes back down, stays down for a while, goes back up. That's the whole point. But the problem is that Spiritualized does such a damn good job on the builders. Like, those are the strong tracks. I feel like if you took out all of the ballads and just had these big, you know, those 6 builders, for one thing, you'd still have an album that was like 35, 40 minutes long, if not longer, and it would still be awesome. It would still be awesome. You don't need to have these ballads in here. What value are they adding?
Or maybe even just keep a couple of the stronger ones.
Exactly. You know, I just feel like it's just a little, you know, overzealous on the ballads. You know, I think that he could have taken a couple out. Not, you know, I don't want to say he wasted my time. That's a really negative tone, right?
Yeah.
And it's also kind of arrogant of me. Oh, my time is so valuable. I'm listening to music. How much more awesome could it be to listen to music all the time, right? But you know, it's just something that you could do to add a little bit more focus to the album, have it be a more fluid listen.
I agree.
So otherwise, I think this is a strong album. I'm actually liking this one fairly well. I'm going to come back to it. It's not blowing me away though, Tom. I'm sitting right at an 80.
Me too. I'm at 80.
Okay, what do you guys think? Are you guys big Spiritualized fans? Is this your favorite Spiritualized album? And what do you think is your favorite Spiritualized album? Let us know. Leave us a comment. www.velocitiesofmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesofmusic. As always, it is very important for you guys to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. That is where we do all of our communicating with you guys, and you guys are what makes VIMTV what it is today, and we're growing every day. We get more and more subscribers, more and more followers, and more interaction from you guys, and that makes this so much more fun for us. It makes Velocities of Music a better experience for you. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.
See what I say, you understand. I'm what I am, got it in my